Most people over 65 believe something so deeply that they rarely question it. That staying single for too long makes you lonely, rigid, and worse off with age. That if you don't pair up again, something must be missing. But here's the uncomfortable question almost no one asks. What if the longer you stay single after 60, the more you change in ways that are not only surprising, but protective? Here's the mystery. Large-scale aging data in the United States shows that long-term single seniors do not simply become isolated versions of their younger selves. They change, their brains adapt, their priorities shift. Their bodies respond differently to stress. And many of these changes don't show up right away. They unfold slowly, quietly, over years. Something important is happening beneath the surface, and most people don't see it until it's already reshaped their life. To understand why staying single changes you, we have to start much earlier than old age. In early adulthood, being single is often framed as temporary, a phase, something to grow out of. American sociological studies from the mid-20th century treated marriage as the default path to stability. Single adults were seen as incomplete. This belief shaped choices. People paired up quickly, often before fully understanding themselves. At this stage, the nervous system is flexible. Stress is easier to recover from. Identity is still forming. Being single or partnered does not yet leave deep biological fingerprints. But the foundation is being laid. Then come the quiet changes in the 40s. By midlife, the body and brain begin to respond differently to environment. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that stress recovery slows after 40. Emotional regulation becomes more dependent on daily context. This is when long-term singles and long-term partnered individuals begin to diverge. Even if it's not visible yet, singles learn to self-regulate earlier. They manage finances alone. They make decisions independently. They build routines without negotiation. At first, this feels inconvenient. But it trains the brain in autonomy, cause leads to effect. Repeated self-reliance strengthens neural pathways tied to confidence, adaptability, and problem-solving. Meanwhile, many partnered adults outsource emotional regulation. One person becomes the stabilizer, the other becomes the dependent. It works until it doesn't. Now comes the shift after 70 that most people ignore. After 70, the aging process accelerates. According to U.S. health surveys, muscle mass, sleep quality, and cognitive stamina decline more sharply in this decade. But here's the twist: the decline is not uniform. Lifestyle and emotional patterns now matter more than genetics. This is where staying single begins to reshape people in 5 surprising ways. The first change is emotional tolerance. Long-term single seniors develop a higher tolerance for silence, uncertainty, and discomfort. Brain imaging studies show reduced reactivity in stress-related regions among older adults who live alone by choice. They are less triggered by minor disruptions. This protects heart health and sleep. The second change is decision clarity. Singles make more decisions daily, even small ones. Over time, this sharpens executive function. Studies from American cognitive aging research show that autonomy is strongly linked to slower cognitive decline. Choice keeps the brain active. The third change is social selectivity. Single seniors do not socialize less, they socialize differently. They prune shallow connections and invest in fewer, deeper ones. This pattern mirrors what psychologists call socio-emotional selectivity theory. Quality replaces quantity. Loneliness decreases, even as circles shrink. The fourth change is body awareness. Without adapting to another person's habits, singles align routines to their own physical signals. Sleep when tired, eat when hungry, move when stiff. Research shows this alignment improves metabolic and cardiovascular markers in older adults. The fifth change is identity consolidation. Singles over 70 often report a stronger sense of self than they had in midlife. They are less defined by roles and more by values. This shift correlates with lower depression rates in multiple U.S. aging studies. But these changes don't appear immediately, which leads us to the breaking point. The breaking point often comes during a health event: a fall, a diagnosis, a hospitalization. This is when outsiders expect single seniors to collapse. But data shows many don't. They activate systems they've been building for years: routines, community ties, internal resilience. Meanwhile, seniors who relied heavily on a partner sometimes struggle more when that partner becomes ill or unavailable. The cause is clear: skills not practiced weaken. The fallout from long-term singleness is not what most people fear. It's not inevitable loneliness. It's often a restructured life. Finances are simpler. Living spaces are optimized. Time feels more owned. According to American retirement surveys, many single seniors report higher perceived control over their lives than married peers in strained relationships. So, why does society still push old advice? Here come the failed fixes. Many seniors are told to just find someone to avoid decline. This advice ignores compatibility, stress load, and autonomy. Others are urged to move in with family, sacrificing independence for safety. Research shows this often increases depression and conflict. Some try forced socializing that drains energy rather than restores it. Others stay in unsatisfying relationships out of fear of being alone. These fixes fail because they treat singleness as the problem instead of a condition that evolves. Now link this to today. In the United States, the number of adults over 65 living alone has reached historic levels. And the data is clear: outcomes depend not on marital status, but on stress, autonomy, and purpose. Millions of seniors are quietly discovering that staying single longer has changed them in ways they never expected. So, what can you do right now if you're over 60 and single? First action: design your days intentionally. Structure routines that support your body and mind. Consistency replaces chaos. Second action: build selective connection. 1 or 2 meaningful relationships protect health more than constant social noise. Third action: invest in autonomy. Make decisions, learn new systems, manage your own affairs. This keeps your brain strong. Here's the warning: grounded in evidence. Forced relationships driven by fear can increase stress and accelerate decline after 65. Loneliness is dangerous, but so is chronic emotional strain. And here's the open thought for the next video: what if the real risk in old age is not being alone, but never learning how to be alone well? If this made you rethink what staying single really does to you, tap like so others can find this conversation. Share it with someone who feels pressure to change their relationship status. Leave a comment if this reflects your experience. Subscribe for the next chapter, where we explore how seniors can turn independence into their greatest advantage.